Hi, Assalamualaikum everyone. Welcome back to our class. Okay, so today we still in chapter 2. Continue on topic effective telephone communication. Okay, when you handle telephone calls at your workplace, it will representing your company. So you need to create a positive image where you should develop good communication skills. And your voice, pronunciation, grammar, vocabulary, and attitude will contribute to the impression that you make when you are using the phone, even though the caller is not unable to see you. Then your first impression of the company is often based on how you treated by the person answering your call. Making a favorable first impression will include the tone, pace, and volume. Okay, so when you are making a call, so tone refers to the changes in pitch used to emphasize words and get your meaning across to the listener. Try to vary the tone of your voice to express feeling and emphasize ideas. So you need to use a variety of tone, okay? And then avoid speaking in a monotonous voice. Okay, monotonous voice which is nada yang sekata, okay? An animated voice reflects interest in the caller and helps you to communicate effectively and successfully. Okay, of course, bila kita ada voice reflect, bila kita sampaikan certain ayat, so it will helps you to communicate effectively with the caller. Okay, and then you need to avoid speaking in a very high pitched voice or very low pitched voice. Okay. Okay, so another thing that you need to consider when you are having a telephone call is your pace. Okay, pace is the rate of your speech. So the rate of which you talk on the telephone can affect the ability of the listener to understand your message. So if you speak too rapidly, listener may not hear the information, and when you speak too slowly, the listener may become bored, insulted, or inattentive. Then you must learn to adjust your pace to fit the needs of those with whom you are communicating. Okay, sometimes we are talking with someone older than us. Okay, then if you are talk too fast, okay, they can't catch up the terms or the information that you are trying to say. But if you are too slowly, people will also become bored. Okay, so you need to control the rate of speech to ensure that the caller receive what you are going to say. Okay, so the last thing that you need to consider when you are having a telephone call is your volume. Okay, do not shout or speak too softly that the listener cannot hear what you are saying. Okay, avoid using extremes in volume when speaking on telephone. Okay, so you tak boleh speak too loud, okay, when you are talking on phone. And then modulating your voice means controlling the volume so that you are speaking neither too loudly or not too softly. Okay, so you need control. Tak boleh slow sangat, tak boleh kuat sangat sebab it will affect the conversation itself. Okay. Okay, so to have a better conversation through a phone, you need to have a speaking skills. Okay, so it includes the vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation. Your voice and speaking skills are put to the test when you speak on the telephone. Okay, and then speaking skills such as word pronunciation, grammar, and vocabulary usage affect the impression you give over the phone. Okay, so first let's take a look on the pronunciation. Okay, so correct pronunciations of word is essential for understanding. Proper enunciation, pronounce word clearly and distinctly is also important. So you need to make sure when you are pronounce certain word is clear. Okay, tak boleh you understand the word but other person couldn't get it what you are trying to say. Okay, so the pronunciation is important in ensure that the conversation can be understood. Okay, so here is the tips to improve pronunciation or trouble communicating because of an accent. First, you need to pronounce words correctly and enunciate clearly. Okay, you need to practice. Sometimes certain word you need to practice first before you pronounce it, so in ensure people can catch up what you're trying to say. Okay, you need to speak slowly but not so slowly that you insult or annoy the caller. Okay, when we are sometimes bila kita talk too slowly, the caller thinks that kita macam cuba insult ataupun annoy the caller lah. Okay, which is annoying. People akan annoy bila kita talk too slowly. Okay, and if you are unsure of any pronunciation, look it up in your dictionary. Okay, you can use any apps, any website to to check on the pronunciation. Okay, and then avoid long words, complicated phrases, or long sentences. In ensure the caller can receive the information you are trying to say. Okay, so other speaking skills that you need to consider is grammar. Okay, follow basic grammar standards will help you project a favorable impression of yourself and company. Okay, and then you need to avoid use of slang or regional expressions that may not be widely known or understood. Okay, so cuba avoid any slang. Okay, yang try to use standard English. Okay, always ask for an explanation if you do not understand as an expression or phrase. Okay, so the last speaking skills that you need to be considered when you are having a phone call is vocabulary. Okay, so you need to improve your professional and personal vocabulary, learn new terms that relate to your position. Okay, so you need uh, to learn by your own terms or words that relate to your position to ensure that you can explain more. Okay, and then learn words that will help you express your feelings, ideas, and needs. And you are not allowed to using trendy slang expression in formal business communication. Okay, so tak boleh guna mana-mana trendy or slang expression dalam business communication. And then you need to learn some simple courtesy phrases to use when speaking with international caller. Okay, sometimes when we are having international caller, so you need to have standard English or simple courtesy in ensure they also can understand what you are trying to say. Sometimes when we are having international caller, we have different slang. Okay, and then last, keep a list of basic phrases along with their translations and pronunciation and practice them. Okay, so you need to have the list of basic phrases. Okay, and then korang kena practice on how to pronounce and on how to elaborate more about that topic. Okay, so this is what you need to know when you are handle incoming telephone calls. You must know how to handle a variety of situations and take care of caller requests, needs, and problems. So this is the following techniques that may help you to communicate effectively. So this is the process when you are answering and ending calls. It includes answer promptly, identify yourself, and conclude the call. Okay, so here is the details on when you are answering or ending calls. Okay, first, answer promptly. Answer all incoming calls promptly and pleasantly. Okay, kita tak boleh nak biar ringing too long barulah kita nak answer. Okay, if possible, answer the telephone after the first ring. Okay, and then when you reach the receiver, have a pen and paper or notepad to take the message, or place a shortcut on your desktop to key message using computer. Okay, so you need to make sure when you are answering a telephone call, you need to get ready with a pen and paper, or to ensure that you can take the message immediately. And then second, identify yourself. Many companies use automated telephone system to answer the calls. Otherwise, you should identify the company first, then yourself. Okay, for example, good afternoon, Binara Electronic, Hanimadu speaking. Okay, so that kind of process of identify yourself. Okay, so third is conclude the call. The person who plays the call is the one who ends the conversation and hang up first. Then you may also use the caller's name if you want to end the conversation. Okay, so you need to ensure the person who are place the calls are the one who end the conversation, sebab dia yang call and then dia lah yang akan end the conversation. But in case you want to end the conversation, so you may use the caller's name. Okay, for example, thank you for calling Mr. Chow. I will be sure to give Mr. Sadiq the message. So this is the example bila kita nak end the conversation. Okay, so tapi let's say if we are confused, okay, so we can ensure that the one who are called first adalah yang akan end the conversation. Okay, so here is when you want to existing the callers. Okay, you need to listen attentively to the callers' questions and comments. If more time is needed to find information, tell him or her that you will call back. Do not let him or her wait. Okay, so let's say you need more information to answer the problem, to answer the issue, so you need to give a call back, atau dan jangan biar dia tunggu lama. Okay, give accurate information to the callers. Okay, and then if you do not know the answer to a question, you may tell the caller that you will obtain the information and call back, or offer to transfer to the call to someone who can answer the question. Okay, sometimes we receive the call with that not related to our area, and then you need to pass the phone call to another person to answer that issue. Okay, so here is when you need to placing a caller on hold. Okay, if another incoming call is waiting while you are talking on the phone, you must put the caller on hold while you answer the other call on another line. Politely inform the caller that you are placing him or her on hold. So tak boleh biar dia hanging macam tu je. So kena inform the caller that yang korang nak letak dia on hold dulu. Okay, and then when a caller is on hold, check back frequently to reassure the caller that he or she has not been forgotten. Okay, so you kena make sure lah bila kita answer another phone call, kita get back to our first call, in ensure yang dia still ada kat situ, and then dia tak dilupakan lah. Okay. Okay, so here is when you need to transferring a call. Okay, when a caller has reached a wrong extension, call must be transferred to the right person or calls requests can be answered more effectively by another person. Okay, sometimes we receive wrong extension ataupun the caller got a wrong uh, not asking the right person to that issue. So korang nak transfer the call, always tell the caller why the transfer is necessary. For example, I will transfer your call to Encik Rashid. He will be able to provide the information you need. Macam tu lah korang kena inform the caller. Okay, next is when you are handling a disconnected call. If your line is disconnected while you are talking, the general rule is that the person who placed the call should call back immediately after the disconnection. Okay, that person has the telephone number and should be able to redial the call quickly. Okay, let's say if you have received the call, then the connection is lost, then you just wait until for that person call back. Okay, sebab dia dah ada phone number. Okay, so here is when you need to handling difficult calls. Sometimes you may handle difficult callers such as angry persons, unreasonable, insensitive, rude, demanding, or highly emotional. So these calls are very stressful. So you must control yourself and remain professional. So you need to maintain goodwill with the caller. Okay, so this is the guideline to handle difficult calls. First, try to resolve the matter if possible. Okay, always present a helpful, positive, and sincere attitude even in an adverse situation. Okay, walaupun dalam keadaan yang which is the caller is rude. Okay, try to be positive and sincere bila kita assist the caller. Okay, remain outwardly calm and do not display defensive behavior. Okay, as someone who has received the call, kita tak boleh display defensive behavior while the caller is still on. Okay, so if the caller is personally abused to you, identify the caller and end the conversation quickly. Okay, so let's say adalah dia macam abuse you through the call, so you identify the caller and then end the conversation. Okay. Okay, so here is the screening calls and taking message. Okay, so screening call is a procedure when you use to determine who is calling and the purpose of the call. Okay, so when screening calls, find out who is calling. For example, may I know who is calling? May I have your name? May I have who's on the line, please? Macam tu lah. So this is kind of example when you are doing a screening call. Okay, so here is when you are giving information to the caller. When an executive is not around, do not reveal unnecessary or sensitive information to callers. Okay, when someone who are responsible or higher position with us do not around us, okay, jangan reveal unnecessary ataupun sensitive information. Okay, offer to take message or assist the caller yourself if your manager not around. Give the caller enough information to explain the person's absence. Okay, so let's say you can't answer the issue, so you need to explain the person in charge are not at the place right now. For example, Miss Chombi is in a meeting right now and won't be around until the rest of the day. Can you leave your message? Macam tu lah, korang tanya dia dulu. Jangan bagi apa-apa input yang not related to you. Okay, so here is taking message. You must have a pen or printed message form for recording telephone message. When recording a message, be sure there is accurate and complete. Make sure your handwriting is legible. Okay, so tak boleh lah guna tulisan doktor pula while taking a phone message. Okay, sometimes kita ambil phone message tu bukan untuk kita, but for another person. Okay, each message should include the following. Okay, so apa yang perlu kita record? Date and time of the call, name of the caller with the caller's company, caller's telephone number, details of the message, and your name or initial. Okay, so senang orang tu, let's say dia couldn't understand the receiver of the message couldn't understand the writing, so dia boleh tahulah, or let's say your name ada or in your initial, so dia boleh contact awak pula. Okay, so many companies have a software that use complete an electronic message. Okay, so macam tadi adalah bila kita guna on paper. Okay, so this is when using electronic message. So dia kata using a computer message offers disadvantages. So kebaikan dia apa? Less time is needed to key message than to write it. Okay kan, lagi cepatlah kita type instead of kita write down. Okay. The number of lost messages is reduced because message can be transferred immediately to the intended receiver, and then printed message form are not needed, which is bila kita dah ada electronic message, kita tak perlulah printed tu, tak perlu on paper. Okay, so here is when you are having outgoing telephone calls. Okay, so first you need to planning a course. Every course require preparation and planning. Items or information needed to have available before making the call. Okay, for example, date and times of any meetings or planned events that relate to the call. Let's say if we are called for to propose a meeting, so you need to have the date and times. Bukannya hello, I would like to call to have a meeting. Then tapi bila tanya date and time tak tahu bila. So you need the date and times, okay? Or documents that relate to the topic discussed, questions that you want to ask, and pen and paper or your computer to take notes during the call. So this is items that you need to that need to be ready when having a telephone call. Okay, so let's say for personal telephone calls, follow your company's policy regarding making or receiving personal telephone calls at work. Companies may limit or discourage personal calls. However, brief or urgent calls are permitted. For example, emergency call. So sometimes untuk personal call for using phone, company's phone are not allowed. But if you are sometimes, but if emergency, certain organisation dia bagi. Okay, next is calls on mobile phones. Employees who are away from the office will keep in touch with their co-workers and customers using mobile phone. Plan to place and receive call on a mobile phone at appropriate times and place. Okay, sometimes kita receive a phone call on mobile phone, so kita kena plan lah dekat mana kita nak receive call. Takkan nak receive call dekat shopping mall ke, dekat kedai makan ke. Okay, so do not use mobile phone in meetings and restaurants because it might disturb others. Of course lah kan, sebab tu benda tu mengganggu kalau kita guna mobile phone dekat meetings, dekat restaurant. Okay, confidential information should not be discussed in public area. Use caution when talking on the phone while driving a car, as this may distract your attention from driving. Okay, so of course lah, we are not allowed to having a phone call while we are driving. Okay, be aware of laws regarding cell phone use while you are travel. Okay, so when you are planning to have outgoing telephone calls, you need to check on the time zone. Time zone is geographically region that has the same standard time. It is important that you are aware of time zone difference when you are placing long distance call. Okay, let's say kita nak call US. Okay, so kita kena consider lah dia punya time zone pukul berapa time kita call tu. Avoid calling when the time is before or after business hour. Of course, we need to avoid from a call, having outgoing call which is dah over dia punya business hour. Okay, so here is when you are having conference call. Okay, so conference call is placed when it is necessary to talk simultaneously with persons at several different locations at one time. So this is kind of bila kita nak having meeting tapi we have a different location or different time zone, so we can have conference call. So conference calls are set up in advance with a conference operator. Of course, to have a conference call, kita kena ada set up daripada conference operator untuk for the items yang kita akan guna lah, which is conference call ni dia tak macam Gmail semua tu, which is dia pakai line phone. Okay, line phone. So kat situ korang someone dalam organisation dia kena connect line phone tu kepada operator, the conference operator. In ensure kita dapat buat conference call. Okay. So here is when you are planning a conference call. So you need to inform all participants of the date, time and proposed length of the call. Verify everyone's telephone number. Okay, bila kita nak, sebab tu saya kata dia tak macam Google Meet, which is bila kita klik terus online. No, kita kena ada phone number untuk setiap orang tu. Okay, and then send any needed information or item for discussion to all participants in advance. Okay, usually kita akan share, let's say, list of agenda ke, kita akan share in advance. Identify the objective and intended outcomes of the call. If using a service provider, call in advance and give accurate numbers, name, date, time and the expectation duration of the call. Okay, so you need to inform the details to the caller bila nak buat call semua tu, and ensure diorang get ready. Okay, so here another things adalah procedures during conference call. Okay, so you need take role, call out the name of all participants. Okay, kita kena chat, manually check, call all the names of the participants. Okay, lead the call by presenting the agenda and conference guideline. Okay, kita using agenda and guide, the list of agenda. Okay, and then having participants identify themselves when speaking. Sebab kita having phone call secara beramai simultaneously. Kita bukan having let's say macam Google Meet tu, kita dah nampak bila orang tu cakap, so kita tahu where dia. So tapi bila phone call, so the person who are talking need to identify himself or themselves before talking. Okay, speak clearly, spelling out difficult or unusual name and terms. Okay, avoid interrupting other speakers. Okay, take note of important points and comments. Okay, and then apply good listening skills. Of course, when we are having a call from a different location, sometimes the connection ataupun dia punya tone, intonation. Okay, so you need to apply good listening skill, which is kena alert sikit. Okay, apa yang this other caller try to say. Okay, and then encourage discussion and participation from everyone. Okay. Okay, so that's all for chapter 2 class. Okay, so conference call adalah last topic dalam chapter 2. So hopefully you gain something from the video. Okay, do study, do listen carefully, and thank you.